You're a boy, and the old man in front of you just slammed his fist into a Marine recruit's skull like it was a coconut. That's Monkey D. Garp, and he's decided you're next. No one asks if you want this life. You're handed to instructors, thrown into training that leaves you bruised for weeks, told that justice is the only word that matters now. You don't know it yet, but you're going to grow into one of the most powerful men in the world. You're going to freeze an entire island. You're going to let a little girl escape when the whole government wants her dead. You're going to lose everything you built, a title, a uniform, a code, over 10 days of fighting your own reflection. You are Kuzan. And here's what nobody tells you about becoming Aokiji. The training never stops. Garp doesn't believe in gentle lessons. He believes in lessons that leave a mark. You take hits that would kill ordinary men, and you get back up, because that's what he expects. And somewhere along the way, his expectation becomes your own. You don't remember a version of yourself that wasn't being shaped for this. The instructor's drill formation, philosophy, the weight of the Marine coat on your shoulders. You learn early that Garp doesn't do things the easy way. He pushes you toward the hardest instructors he can find, the ones who won't coddle you, because coddled Marines don't survive what's coming. Then one day something changes inside you. You eat something you shouldn't have, a strange lumpy fruit that tastes like regret. And your body's never the same again. Cold floods your veins. You touch a glass of water and it turns to frost under your fingertips. The air around you drops several degrees without warning, your breath visible even in warm rooms, ice forming in thin crystal rings around your boots when you stand still too long. You are the hi no me now, ice given a name and a rank. Unlike the stories you've heard about devil fruit users who slip through blades like smoke, your body doesn't work that way. Hit you and you shatter, a spray of ice fragments scattering across the floor. For half a second, panic. Then the pieces pull back together, reform, and you're standing again like nothing happened. It should feel like a flaw. Instead, it feels like proof. You can survive nearly anything thrown at you. Nearly. Because deep down, some part of you already senses that Haki is the one language your ice can't argue with. You rise through the ranks the way water rises to fill a container, inevitably, quietly, without spectacle. Vice Admiral. The rank sits on you the way ice sits on a mountain, heavy, permanent, cold enough that people keep their distance. Garp watches you rise with something that might be pride, if Garp allowed himself soft words. He doesn't, he just nods once, and that's the whole conversation. Ohara, you arrive with 4 other Vice Admirals sent to enforce a Buster Call, an order so severe it's spoken of like a natural disaster, not a military maneuver. Ohara's scholars have been digging into the Void Century, into poneglyphs, into knowledge the world government would rather bury with the people who found it. The order is clear: destroy what needs destroying, evacuate the civilians who have nothing to do with the research. You expect brutality. You don't expect what Sakazuki does. You watch him, your fellow Vice Admiral, a man built entirely of certainty, turn on fleeing civilians who are never supposed to be targets. Innocent people running for the evacuation ships, cut down so that no scholar could hide among them and slip away. It isn't part of the order. It isn't justice by any definition you were taught. It's overkill dressed up in righteousness. You're a fool, you tell him, and your voice comes out colder than your devil fruit ever could. You didn't have to do that. Sakazuki doesn't blink. He believes completely that the ends justify any means. You realize in that moment that something's cracked open between you, a rift that'll never fully freeze back shut. Amid the smoke and the screaming, you meet a giant named Jaguar D. Saul. He's trying to protect a small girl, Nico Robin, hustling her away from the destruction. You intercept him, you're a Marine after all, and orders are orders, and the two of you argue about what justice actually means while the world burns around you. There's no clean answer. Saul believes in protecting the girl no matter what. You believe, or used to believe, that the uniform decides the truth for you. An evacuation ship explodes nearby. Saul tries to make a break for it with Robin in tow. You freeze him, encase him fully in ice exactly as your orders demand. But as the ice climbs his massive frame, Saul starts laughing. Actually laughing, like the two of you are sharing some private joke against the end of the world. He tells Robin, through the last movement his jaw can manage, to get to the sea, to find friends there, to keep living. Something in you breaks quietly, invisibly, the way ice cracks under pressure long before it splits. You let Robin go, not an accident, not an oversight. You sabotage the pursuing ships yourself, carve a trail of ice across the water, hand her passage off this dead island in direct defiance of the orders you were sent to enforce. Nobody sees you do it, or, if they do, nobody stops you. Years pass. You wear the Admiral coat now. Aokiji they call you, the blue pheasant, and the name means less to you than the weight of the coat itself. You cross paths with a loud, rubber-limbed pirate named Luffy during a strange stretch of ocean called Long Ring Long Land. You could arrest him, you could end him right there. Instead, you remember that he beat Crocodile, a man who deserved worse than he got, and something in you decides that not every pirate needs the full weight of the law crashing down on them immediately. You let him go. It isn't mercy exactly, it's more like curiosity about what a person like that becomes if you don't crush him too early. Later, at Water 7, you find yourself watching Robin again. Grown now, sitting among a crew that calls her a friend without hesitation. You remember Saul's ice-cold laughter. You remember the promise you kept without ever telling anyone you kept it. You say nothing to her. You don't need to. Then comes the war at Marineford. Whitebeard's forces against everything the Marines have built. You stand among the admirals doing what an admiral's expected to do, but even in the middle of the chaos you can feel the old cracks running underneath the ice. Cracks that started on Ohara and never really closed. When it's over, Sengoku steps down as Fleet Admiral. He puts your name forward for the position. You don't want it, not really, not the ceremony or the politics that come with it, but you can't stomach the alternative. Sakazuki, wearing absolute justice like a second skin, sitting at the top of the entire organization. You remember the civilians on Ohara. You remember calling him a fool. You decide you'd rather fight for a job you don't want than hand it to a man who'd burn the world down, convinced it was righteous work. The fight lasts 10 days. 10 days of ice against magma, cold against heat, doubt against conviction. Neither of you says much. There's nothing left to say that hasn't already been said in blood and steam and shattered ice, reforming again and again across a wrecked landscape. You throw everything you are at him. It isn't enough. Sakazuki wins. You don't wait for the ceremony to make it official. You walk away from the only structure you've ever known. No uniform, no title, no admiral's coat, just you and the cold fury that's been building since a burning island 20-some years ago, finally given somewhere honest to go. The coat hits the ground behind you, and you don't look back. You drift. Months, maybe longer, blur into each other. You've spent your whole life inside an organization, moving inside someone else's definition of purpose, and now there's nothing but horizon in every direction. It's almost peaceful. Almost. You watch the world government from a distance now instead of enforcing its will, and the view's uglier than you remembered. Or maybe you just finally have the space to actually look without the uniform telling you what to see. Then Marshal D. Teach finds you. Blackbeard, a name that means chaos wearing a smile. He doesn't want your loyalty out of admiration. He wants something specific. He wants to know if you can undo what a devil fruit does, reverse it, strip it away. He's fascinated by the idea in a way that makes your ice run colder just listening to him talk about it. While you're weighing his offer, you hear something you weren't meant to hear. A voice at the edge of the room, low, almost thoughtful, suggesting to Blackbeard that it might be simpler to just kill you and take the fruit for himself. Lafitte's voice, calm as a man discussing the weather. Your temperature drops, literally. The air around you crackling with frost you didn't consciously summon. Blackbeard steps in before it goes further, waving off his own subordinate with the easy confidence of a man who always assumes he'll win in the end. You still don't know why you say yes. Maybe it's because the Marines never really left room in their definition of justice for men like Saul, men like Robin, men like you. Maybe it's because you've spent your whole life inside someone else's chain of command, and you're curious what it looks like from a different seat. Maybe your reasons are your own business. You become a Titanic captain, 10th ship, Aokiji or Kuzan, you're not entirely sure which name fits anymore, sailing under a flag that used to be the enemy. Hachinosu. Blackbeard's holding Kobe and the whole island smells like a fight that's about to happen whether anyone wants it to or not. You freeze Marine Officer Hibari without much hesitation, and you find yourself face to face with Kobe. Young, earnest, everything a Marine's supposed to be before the world grinds that earnestness down. You look at him and see something that might be a younger version of yourself, back before Ohara taught you what the coat actually cost. You don't know what to say to him. Maybe there's nothing to say. Maybe the silence between you carries more truth than any words could manage. Then Garp arrives. The old man doesn't hesitate. He never has. He comes for Kobe the way he once came for you. All those years of training, all those bruises that were supposed to make you strong, distilled into a single, furious charge across the battlefield. You raise your fist. Ice wraps around it, thick and gleaming, and Garp's fist comes up to meet yours. Haki humming visibly around his knuckles like a second skin. The two of you collide. The explosion that follows swallows the sky. For one frozen half-second, no pun intended, though you'd almost laugh if there were time, you're 7 feet from the old man who shaped every version of you that ever existed. You see something in his eyes that isn't quite anger, disappointment maybe, or something closer to grief. Later, alone, the smoke of Hachinosu still clinging to your coat. You think about the girl you let escape from a burning island. You think about the giant who laughed while you encased him in ice. You think about the old man whose fist just met yours with enough force to crack the horizon. Justice was supposed to be simple. Somebody handed you a coat and told you it was black and white. Instead, you found every shade of grey between Ohara's smoke and Punk Hazard's 10 days of stalemate and Hachinosu's explosion of memory and steel. You never chose peace. You chose the version of yourself that could live with what he'd done. Some nights, frozen and still, floating somewhere between two oceans. That has to be enough. There are a lot more lives worth living inside this world. More captains, more admirals, more wanderers who chose their own definition of justice. Subscribe because we're only just getting started.